So here we go, the main event of the evening, Cage Rage 12, the real deal, here at a packed Wembley Conference Centre.
And here he is, the British and UK favourite, or one of the UK favourites, of course Mark being the other.
You know, Saul's is going to really show zero tolerance, because there seems to be, there's always that gunslinger thing. When you get two Brits in the cage together, it's like the Old West. This town ain't big enough for both of us.
He has a background in range fighting, representing range fighting, with a Cage Rage record of 2-4 from Gloucester, Mark the Wizard Weir!
This is the last chance saloon for Mark Weir. This is that big a fight for this man at this precise moment in time. On a run of bad luck, he needs this to prove he's still the #1 in this country. If he loses to Sol, I really don't see where Mark's going to go. I think this fight is totally vital to this man staying in our sport.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is a middleweight contest for the Cage Rage British Middleweight Championship. Over 3 5-minute rounds, with on my left, Sol Zero Tolerance Gilbert! And on my right, Mark the Wizard Weir!
Are you ready? Let's fight!
This means so much to both men.
Saul's coming in on rage. Saul eats a right hand right away. Saul gets stripped down. Mark Weir on top.
So he's trying to move to position for guillotine. He turns round, holding guard position.
Mark Weir starting to blast down, hitting the canvas with one of those shots. It's very important for both men to relax. They're wound up really, really tight right now. The crowd's totally into this. Both of them hometown favorites. The blonde against the brunette. That's a classic match.
You said about relaxing. I think, as I said earlier, there is a palpable tension in the air, isn't there? That everybody knows the significance of this fight.
You guys live here. You know exactly what this fight means. Even though I'm from the States, I know what this fight means. This fight is huge for UK. This is like a Titanic battle. In MMA, it doesn't get much bigger than this as far as local guys going at it. Both these guys have strong reputations here as punchers, but they're working the ground game now. I'm thinking that Saul is going to want to do double overhooks and maybe get a restart out of this, because there's not a lot of action. We're really not doing anything to pass the guard, not doing anything.
When we look at metaphors and things like this, I'd like to pick up something that Mark Weir said in his interview. A win would redeem this for Sol Gilbert, and I think that's a wonderful term for both men. A win here is redemption.
Yes, it is. I think it would be more redemption for Mark Weir coming off, what, 4 straight losses. And Sol came off 1 loss. Big ground and pound there by Weir. Some of those shots are getting through. That definitely got through. That definitely got through again.
Sol's holding the guard position. He seems to be putting on a neck crank that Mark's managed to pop out of. Sol trying to kick up off his back. Mark straight in again with those big strikes downwards. Is this the fight you expected, Steve?
No. I thought these guys were going to trade and trade and trade until somebody got knocked out. I thought this was going to, look like an old school bare knuckle fight from some back alley somewhere. But it doesn't surprise me. Mark Weir hurt Sol with that last right hand.
It's hard to explain, but there's a menace about Weir that has been lacking in recent fights.
That is a really good term there, menace, because he's so nice. And I put that in quotes.
At the moment, he's hunting Sol. Sol's on his back. Mark's not letting him to his feet.
But there is this mean spirit in him for this fight, which I think shows just how much this means to him.
If there were a carnivore laying asleep inside Mark Weir, it just came alive in this fight. Oh, big right hand by Weir. Sol had to give it up and turn his back.
Big shots by Mark Weir.
Big shots, mounted position by Mark Weir. Sol in trouble a little bit here. He's not out of the game completely, but those last 3 shots were hellifying.
Mark's holding the mount position. He's trying to get his head free. If he can get his shoulder and arm up, I think we're going to see him strike with some ground and pound. Trying to pop those little strikes in at the moment to deter Sol. Try and free his arms. Sol's got the support of the crowd here. Is it going to be enough to drive him through?
Well, the crowd can't fight his fight for him, unfortunately.
So when you see a situation like this, you really do realize the enormity of a 5-minute round.
Yeah, exactly. Sol is probably waiting for that bell. And Mark has got the distance now. He drops the elbow. Sol wants to keep him close because every time Mark sits up like that, Sol has got a real big problem because Mark's mount, it's very controlling here. Mark's got to be sure that he doesn't use all of his energy in those flurries because we got a second and third possible round. Sol turning his back, Mark going for it. Does he have it? He's got it. He's got it. No, he's got it to the side.
He's got the body triangle, the choke set in.
He's got the body triangle, exactly. Mark Weir may be on the verge of tapping out. So nope, he gave it up. Wow.
10 seconds to go. Incredible first round this.
Mark Weir in complete control. There he goes again. He could get him here. Oh!
By the bell, guys.
Saved by the bell, indeed. Sol Gilbert busted up. Look, he's got a cut over his eye. They're patching that up now. Mark Weir seems to be very much alive and alert and got a lot more in store.
Malcolm, sorry, Steve. Malcolm, you said, you know, Mark Weir had to redeem himself. Was that first round impressive enough for you? To me, as I said, I'll repeat, as we watch this awesome ground and pound, as I said to you guys before, there was a mean-spiritedness about him tonight that is all business, as if he's really taken on the weight of what this fight means to him. I think he's looked at himself in the mirror and said, do I really want to go on? He's at an age and experience where he's done it all. He doesn't need to prove himself anymore, but I feel in his own mind he does. And that's what today is all about, saying, yes, I still want it. The hunger's there, and that's why there's been a mean edge here that Sol has taken Sol totally by surprise. So Mark, first round, very impressive. Dominated the first round. Mark Weir, first round?
Absolutely. There's no question about it. Mark Weir was dominating.
I don't think this is going into the third, Steve.
No.
I don't think this is going into the third.
If this goes to the ground and Mark gets on top of him again, I think he will finish Sol. But Sol has got to hurt Mark standing up. He's got to try and find his chin. But Sol, if he rages in, he could get into a clinch. So now he's conservative. And Mark is smart here. Pick his shots.
Well, in the first round, as you said, Sol raged forward and walked straight onto the right hand, which set up everything really that followed. That brash attack, flush with the right hand, and he had a whole round of pain to regret that move.
There are 2 other English middleweights that are watching this fight very closely. One would be Alex Reed, and the other would be Lee Murray. But nonetheless, oh, good right hook there, answered back by a straight right by Sol. Back into the kickboxing mode for both gentlemen.
And this is what we expected in the first round. And there it goes, Mark with a good right. He's clipped him. It could be over. Sol's back. He's defending himself. For a minute there, guys, I thought it was over.
I did too. I thought that right hook was enough because it dropped Sol down again. Sol back on his back.
Sometimes it's a strange thing to say, but you just know. And I get the feeling that I just know here. This is personal to Mark Weir, about still having that crown, about still being the man.
Mark has got to keep his chin down in those punching exchanges. If he brings his chin up, Sol could catch him. But they're back to kickboxing mode.
Just to touch on what you said, Malcolm, I'm looking into the eyes of Mark Weir, and I didn't see that at the last cage rage. I think you're right. He's got a different glare in his eye.
Well, looking into the face of Saul Gilbert, you can tell that he has been the one on the receiving end of most of the damage in this fight. Good low kick by Weir.
To me, it's like when you know you've got to quell an uprising before it gathers steam. I think this is what Weir's trying to do with Gilbert. Say, hey, your time might come, but it's not yet.
This is one of the smartest game plans I've seen Mark Weir ever execute.
This is the type of fight Mark Weir wants. He loves excitement, he loves to trade, and that's what he's getting now with Saul. Great high point kick.
What we are getting is a fantastic fight. And I mean, when you look at Saul's face and the damage there, you realize just how resilient the man is.
Yeah, because the way he's bouncing, he's still very much into this fight.
Both these guys, though, are tailor-made for being entertaining fighters, and to put the two together, this is what you get.
Exactly. This is a masterful matchup.
But I'd like to reiterate what the fight professor said. Mark cannot afford to have his hands that low. We saw what happened to Saul with Curtis, and this could turn in an instant if one of those Gilbert hooks lands. He's got to be so careful here, Mark. Because as you said, Saul is still fresh. The legs show it.
Well, he's fresh, but he's just moving back and not doing much in the attack mode. He's waiting for a counter shot. Both men are waiting for the other guy to come in and try and counter. And Saul tries with that right hand to the body. Round 1 and 2 couldn't be more different. Good left roundhouse kick to the body, and it landed. It was not blocked.
But the very difference in those rounds makes this such a great fight.
You know, the reason why this round is different is because Saul is not trying to come forward because he doesn't want to get clinched. He doesn't want to get taken down again. But he's backing away and eating shots on the tail end. Mark can't get too overconfident here. He's picking him apart. Oh, good head kick. Good shot.
Kick.
That rocked Gilbert. Gilbert covering up on the ropes. Another roundhouse kick. Mark Weir in complete control here.
Mark Weir totally controlling the ring at the cage at the moment. Total dominance in the center.
Oh, uppercut
and he's got
Clinch.
Saul reeling.
Down they
hit the
go.
deck.
Mounted position. This fight is almost over.
That southpaw right hand did
Almost
so
over.
much damage. So much from the southpaw position. And then to throw the legs as well.
Mark had Saul reeling back. He's got him on the ground, and now he's opening up with ground and pound. Saul looks very uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Mark's able to just step round freely and throw a strike.
You know, Mark is backing off on him. See this? He's backing off because he knows he's got him. But he's got to finish him. He can't because, you know, he's waiting for the referee to finish it. Because one more. Okay. Another dominating round for Mark the Wizard Weir.
Sorry, Stephen. As that round ended, I actually saw Mark look to Grant and raise his hands. I think he was actually waiting for Grant to stop it. That's why we didn't see Mark so aggressive towards the end there.
I agree.
think Mark raised his hands to Grant as if to say, why are we continuing?
I'm thinking that the corner of Saul Gilbert may have to make an executive decision here. He's got a lot of heart, but you don't want to see the guy go out there and just turn into a piece of hamburger. I mean, here we have Mark is just picking him apart, you know, punches, kicks, that uppercut, and that right hook. I mean, Saul just can't resist anymore. He can't stop the takedowns.
I think it's no. Lee Murray Grant just went to say it's over, and Lee Murray pushed away. It's over. It is.
Thank you.
It's over.
Thank you. It's a good call.
Saul's in trouble.
It's a good call.
I can only use the term. I will repeat it. Mark Weir redemption.
Thank you.
Big time.
Ladies and gentlemen, with a referee calling a halt to this contest at the end of round 1, your new Cage Rage British middleweight champion, Mark the Wizard Weir! And the belt to be presented by Danny John Jules, who you'll see in a forthcoming film Sucker Punch. And the trophies to be presented by the Elite Girls. And ladies and gentlemen, let's hear it for your runner-up, Soul Zero Tolerance, Gilbert!
There's a real respect between you two fighters. Real respect. How did it feel for you today?
Well, basically, it's like Cage Rage has been helping me out, giving me good fights. Basically, I used to fight a lot of the British fighters. Then my training partner, Matt Ewan's been doing that. He fought him previously. So I basically did that as a favour. I think within another year's time, fighting him again might be a total different matter. It might be a total different game. It might not be so one-sided in my eyes, but again, it's like that's the way of progress in mixed martial arts.
I doubt. Well, but as I said, the fight worth